Good afternoon, everyone. We're united today on this online space, coming from different parts of the continent, our vibrant continent, Africa. And we represent the pulse, the voice, the art of our nation through our work as journalists. Yet, an aspect often overlooked in our professional journey is the task of building our own unique voice and presence, our personal brand. This brings us to the crucial topic of today's webinar, building and strengthening your personal brand as a journalist, effective strategies and technique. When we tell the world stories, it's equally important that we don't lose sight of our own narrative. Our personal brands tell the world about us, our values, our dedication, and the unique perspective we bring to our field. And today, we're here to learn how to build that standout brand. Now, it gives me an immense pleasure to introduce your host for today, a thought leader, a brand architect, and an influencer. Anais Allou is the driving force behind a company, the group, with a strong online following that exceeds over 100,000 across various social networks. Anais shares a vast knowledge on branding, inspiring and enlightening others on their journey. What sets Anais apart is not just a professional success, but also a commitment to giving back. She is a beacon in our community, having trained and motivated a community of over 5,000 people. I'm sure we can all agree that there is much more we can learn from Anais' journey, and there is no better time than now to start building and strengthening our personal brand. On behalf of African Media Agency and AMA Academy, I extend a warm welcome to all attendees and a big thank you to you, Anais, for guiding us in today's journey. Now, let's get started and weave our unique, impactful narrative together. Welcome on this webinar. Welcome, Anais.
Welcome, everyone, and I'm so glad to be here with you. I don't know how many we are, but I think I'm so glad to be here with Eric, Asanatou, Jean-Boris, Josette, and Laetitia, Lucine, all of you, and thank you for this presentation. Today, we're going to talk about how to build your personal branding as a journalist. So I really like this topic because that is my field, and I'm very passionate about personal branding. So building and strengthening your personal brand as a journalist is something very important. But let me share yes, I think I can share it now. Let me share my screen and we can start. But before sharing my screen, it's very important for me that everyone gonna say, what do you know about personal branding? We all talk about personal brand these days, and many people are just trying to talk about personal branding. But what do you know about personal branding? I don't know if you guys are able to open your microphone, but you can also put in your chat, what do you know about personal branding?
I think for a better convenience, we'll be using the chat box. So guys, if you can type in the chat box what you know about personal branding, it will be fine.
Okay, so I can see in the chat. only Eric will answer. You have to be very interactive. That will be an interactive session. So no worry. Your answer not gonna be a mistake. Just try because it's according to what you just texted. We're going to have this session. So this is your first question. You guys gonna receive a second question before we start. Uh, Personal branding is a discipline that helps us to build our social presence as a brand. Okay. Okay, thank you, Jean Boris. Okay. Someone else, personal branding refers to the process of establishing and promoting a unique and authentic image of oneself to others, both professionally and personally. Okay, that can definitely work. This is a good one. Another one, I will take like two more. I think personal branding are all these techniques we use to establish our brand on social platform. Okay. Is there anyone want to say anything else? Who we are and what we do. I like it. This is very simply, but I like it because that we can define personal branding as this too. So I really like it. Let me try again with my computer. Hope this time will be good. Okay, so my second and my last question for you guys will be, what are you expected for this training? So what are your expectations for this training? That's very important for me. Like before registered for this training, before logging in on Zoom, what was your expectation? And right now, what are your expectations for this training? What are you expected? Let's go a little bit fast so we can get on time. Okay, so I can read. I have a lot of information about personal branding and I have tips for that. My expectation are to have step-by-step plan to establish myself as a brand on social media. How journalists can use personal branding to make success. I'd like to learn more about personal branding and how it can help my career. Okay, sound great. So let's pray for this network issue as I can share my screen now. We're going by presentation, so. Oh my goodness. Okay. Maybe I will share my presentation with you. As you can. Maybe I will share my presentation with you, Eric.
Yeah, send it to me and I will share it.
That was a great one because I try my best, but it's still okay. I'm gonna share my PowerPoint with Eric and we're gonna just do it now. Branding, how can you build your personal branding? How can you process for build your personal branding online with social media? And the last one would be how can you go step by step with your personal branding? So by the end of this meeting, we're gonna know how to do that. And I think you guys gonna enjoy. I hope to gonna enjoy the session. So download it. Yes, finally. Okay. Sorry, I tried to share my screen, but that was so, and my file still wait. So I'm still sharing my file with Eric. And I got my file here, so we can start here. So the first one is understanding personal branding for journalists, because we all know personal branding, but for journalists that can be a little bit different. My definition of personal branding is what people think about you when you're not here. This is very important for me because talking about personal branding with all the definition that you guys sent or share was awesome, like that was perfect. But you just have to put in your mind that personal branding is what people think about you when you are not here, like what people think about you when you are absent, we can say like that. So what people think about you is the most important, but it's not when you are here, it's more when you are not here, or more when you are absent, or more when your family talk about you and you are working. So this is the first definition of personal branding that I can give to you guys. But according to the Google and all the things that we know, personal branding is the process of intentionally crafting and managing your public image, portraying a consistent identity that resonates with your target audience. Just as news organizations have distinct brands that reflect the values and perspective, journalists too can establish their own brand to communicate their unique voice and expertise. Just let me know if you got the PowerPoint now. So as I said, we were talking about the content. I think Eric can share now my screen so you guys can just saw the content. Okay, great. Thanks to technology. So the content we're talking about understanding personal branding for journalists, defining your unique value proposition, crafting your personal brand story, leveraging social media for personal branding, and so on. So I was talking about the first one, understanding personal branding for journalists. So I was saying that personal branding for journalists is more linking to the process of intentionally crafting and managing your public image. But the short definition that you have to get in your mind is what people think about you when you are not here. This is the short definition. So as journalists, I was saying, you can go to the next PowerPoint. As journalists, we can say that you need to establish your own brand because you have to communicate your unique voice and your expertise. So you should do that before people will think about something. You should do some action. So as journalists, you always work sometimes behind the scene. I don't know if uh everyone here are journalists. So just let me know. I just saw the different a different presentation. But as journalists, you always working behind the scene. So you always working for something, for getting the news, for public relation and media, for many things. But with your brand, you should establish something that people will know that this is the job of this or this. I will take some name and we're going by that. So we have to know that this is the job of Serge Jose Privat. This is the job of Rosen Kofi Kwaku. And you should go your own social media. You should go your own media because your voice should be heard by people and your brand is your voice. So together, let's go to the next PowerPoint. Together, we're going to explore strategy to help you define your personal brand, create compelling narrative, and leverage social media. Excuse me. So let's say that we're going to try how to support your growth as a journalist and dive into the first step, defining your unique value proposition. Before doing anything, we should all try to define our unique value proposition. So what is your unique value proposition? What makes you different than other people, than other journalists? What is your unique value proposition? I want someone put in the chat because I said at the beginning we are going to interact like a little more. So let's put in chat what is your unique value proposition. According to you, what is your unique value proposition? What is your unique value proposition? I'm waiting for you guys. I don't know if you guys get my point, but you should put it on your chat. What makes you different from other journalists? What is your unique value proposition? If you guys got some question about it, just ask the question, but you should answer on it. So I'm gonna read the different answer. I think mine is to give right information and avoid fake news. Okay, great. How can I define my value proposition? So as I was explaining at the beginning, your unique value proposition is what makes you different from the others. Like what makes you different for others, journalists, for other people working in your area. Maybe that can be your way of working. Maybe what that can be the solution that you give to the audience. Maybe that can be a strong character that you got. Maybe that can be, I don't know, but something that make you unique. Because if you don't know something that can make you unique, you can't work on your personal brand because you will going to, maybe, how can I say that? You're going to cheat on people and do what they are doing on the social media or on the branding. So you should definitely know what is your unique value proposition. And for this answer, I can just propose you some question that you have to ask to yourself. The first question is, who are you? Let's go to the next PowerPoint, please, Eric. The first question to help you to define your unique value proposition is, who are you? And this question, just waiting the answer, I will do my example. So I'll not say I'm Anais, I will say I'm a young woman passionate about digital. This is, who am I? So the first question you should answer for your first question, who are you? And the second one will be, what are you doing? And the third one will be, what do you want others to remember about you? Okay, so let's talk about, who are you. You guys should know who are you as a person, about your passions, about what you want to do, what are you doing is the second question. So I'm doing design, I'm doing interviews, I'm doing public relations and media, I'm doing image advertising. You should know what are you doing, because when you answer to these three questions, you can know your unique value proposition. So who are you is very important. After after answer to the who are you, the second one will be, what are you doing? And the third one will be, I think, the way we will build our brand. What do you want others to remember about you as a journalist? What do you want others to remember about you as a journalist? I just repeat the question because that's very important. Because if you don't know what do you want others to remember about you, you can't work. So I hope you guys got how to define your unique value proposition. Just put on the chat now a sentence who answer to this three questions. Who are you? What are you doing? And what do you want others to remember about you? If it's okay, just let an emoji like the okay emoji, or you can put on your chat the different answer. So you're not here to just watch other people answer to the question. I think, Eric, you can also chat if you want, but everyone have to do that. And if you're a French speaker, no worry, just try to answer. So if you get the point, because I just received the different emoji, the different reaction. So right now, just answer with one sentence, who are you and what are you doing and what do you want others to remember about you? And if you guys was thinking, are we going to speak from the beginning to the end without your participation? Oh, you're joking, because we're all doing this session together. I strongly believe that when you're giving a session like this, people should participate because they will forget if they don't do anything. And I think an interaction session is great for all of us, for both of us. So let's do something. Let's try. So answer to the different question, how can you define your unique value proposition? Just try something. I'll give you guys 2 minutes to write. No. So I just got only one answer. So I'm a young, dynamic Ivorian working in the PR industry. I want to build my personal brand so people will learn more about PR and how it can help them in their work. Okay, I only get Eric answer, but we got more than Eric in this group, so let's do something. I will not let you guys go in without saying something. I'm young man, very passionate about communication, journalism, and sport, and passion. Uh, I use this passion. Oh, excuse me. I'm gonna mute my. Okay. I hope you guys can hear me. Uh, that a little bit. Okay, I think it's okay. So I was reading this. I'm a young man, very passionate about communication, journalism, and sport, and I use this passion in my work as a social media manager. I want people to remember that I'm a credible source of information. I'm a credible source of information. Okay, I think that the third question, what do you want others to remember about you? Your answer was just so short. That was not so specific. And I need the other people try to answer, please. I saw more than 9 person, like 9 person. Co-host, I can count the co-host, I can count Lausin, Kofi Kwako, Josette, Jean-Boris, Laetitia Connor, Nyan, Serge, Jose. So just try to answer something. I will take your example to do our session. We're going to finish maybe in 30 minutes, so it's okay. You can take your time, but just answer. So the third question, what do you want others to remember about you, is very important. And you should not answer like sure. You should be very specific. So for me, that can be who are you? I'm a young woman passionate about digital. What are you doing? I'm doing social media managing and personal branding, so managing pages for public personality as CEO, Chief Executive Officer, and also have public personality. So I want people remember about me that I am the only one woman girl who got like more than $10 billion because of a big career in communication with an agency. So that was my things about what I want people to remember about me. This is my long term, but specific in the area that's at the end of the day, I have to say I want people to remember about me as a very good communicator in West Africa, who managing many electoral campaigns for president and got a good result and also have money. As at least we are all here for money. So this is what I want others to remember about me. And if you don't want anyone to remember about anything, I don't think you guys should try to build your personal brand. So I don't know if you guys got my point about this one. If you get my point, just put a reaction, like the okay reaction. And we can continue. So if you got my point, let's go to the next one. Next one. To the PowerPoints. We just got like 4 PowerPoints again and we're gonna finish. So the process, the crafting of your personal brand story. First of all, you should be on social media because as journalists, I'm talking with journalists because our theme is more focused on journalists, but I don't know if we got some people in social media, in I don't know, in design, we can just follow this and do what you want about that. But you can just follow the same process. So crafting your personal brand story. First of all, you should be on social media. You all know that social media are the new medias of this century. So we should all be on social media because that's a big way to build your personal branding. Be on social media, say we can say that that can be the first step. So reason why it's just on the top. So let's talk about how can you be in social media and what do you have to do on social media. So first of all, be on social media. we have to say that it's define first what do you want to join social media and have a profile picture. You should all have a profile picture, and your profile picture for your personal branding should be on portrait because people have to know you, see your eyes, your nose, and everything about your face. So you should have a profile picture. You should also have a cover picture on your Facebook, Instagram, if there is a cover on Instagram. But I think in Instagram, that's just a profile picture, and LinkedIn too. So you guys can have 3 or 2 social media. My advice for you is just be on 2 social media. Like you should be constant on 2 social media. For a journalist, which social media do you think can be more useful for your personal branding? You can just write. Which are the social media? Oh, I saw the different answer for the first one. Okay, that sounds great. Facebook and Twitter. I like it. Thank you, Priva. Someone else? Which are the different social media? I think Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Just go by 2. I think 2 will be okay. Twitter and LinkedIn. Okay. Twitter and LinkedIn. My advice for you guys is to put Facebook on your option. Why? Because we're living in Ivory Coast, for people who live in Ivory Coast, and for everyone like living in Africa, Facebook we represent like 56% in West Africa, like be online on social media, and Africa represent more than 60% on social media, but particularly on Facebook. So Facebook should be one on your social media presence, should be on the list. And the second one can be Twitter or LinkedIn. Why Twitter? For your personal brand, you are a journalist, so you are a person who's writing every time. So Twitter can be a good one because we can show on Twitter that we can have some news, we can have some space, we can have many things that can help you as a journalist. So my advice for you can be Twitter, but we can also use LinkedIn because that's a professional one. And as a professional, you should be where the professional are. You should not say that I'm a professional, but I'm staying in Facebook. I'm building my personal branding in Facebook. That can't make sense. If you're a professional, you should be on professional platform too. So you can have Facebook and you should have LinkedIn. For those of you who don't know LinkedIn or don't know how to use LinkedIn, this is simply the simple way I learned LinkedIn. I just try to watch what people are doing. So I just watch what people are doing, and I was looking the grid profile, what they was doing, and I did the same in my area. So you are journalists, just try to check some journalists in West Africa, in France, in Spain, in United States, in South Africa. Try to follow them and try to do what they are doing in the area. You can do yours in your area, so you can do the same. First of all, on Facebook, you don't need a page right now because you have many options with your profile. You should create a profile on Facebook, have a very clear profile picture, a very helpful cover because your cover is here for cover you. I don't know how you can explain to you guys, but your cover is here for cover you, covering what you're doing, covering what you didn't put on your biography. So on your cover, we should see everything that you are doing or what do you want people is remember about you. So your cover should have it. Your cover should definitely, I hope I'm seeing the Zoom meeting. Okay. Your cover should definitely have something that can explain what are you doing, what do you do, and your different areas of working. Your cover should covering all of the things you're doing. That's very important. And the third one would be the biography. Your biography should explain to someone who was just checking your profile that you are this and you can provide. Personally, I think some biography are more attractive when I know what this person can provide to me. So for example, I'll take one example in the chat. I'm a senior journalist. I'm doing everything in the journalist area, either management, PR, and journalism technique. Be remembered and new for my professionalism. Okay, that's great. But someone who's coming on on your biography, on your profile, should see a little biography about you. So you can put, as a journalist, I think I prefer that you put your achievement. So two or one achievement that you did in your life. So we can say, for example, welcome on a senior journalist which did this interview for this test, and connect to me if you want to get this. So that can be if you want to get a good PR, if you want to go to get like some news, if you want to get some tips about journalists, connect with me. So this kind of biography are more clear for people. So when they are checking your profile, they was like, oh, I know that this person can provide me this. They can provide me maybe tips, maybe rules, maybe information, maybe expertise, maybe experience. Because I can see that you a senior journalist, you did these two projects, and you shared this on your profile. So biography is very important. I don't know if you guys got my point. I just took an example with Lucien Kofi Kwaku, but you guys can just react on the reaction to let me know if you get my point about the first one process. Like, be on social media, have a profile picture, have a cover picture, have a good biography who define who are you and what you're gonna provide to the person who is maybe behind the phone and following you. If you guys are okay with this, we can move to the next one, connect with people. But before talking about connect the people, we have to talk about updating your information. I don't know if you guys already hear or saw some people talking on social media and say, new profile picture, let's meet in 2 years. We are not in symmetry, like we are on profile picture of social media. So we are on social media. That means we should be social. But people always saying, new profile picture, let's meet on 2025 because I will not move my profile picture, and people are laughing about that. You should update your information. At least you should always update your information. Maybe take 3 months to update. I'm not talking about the profile picture only, but I'm also talking about your education, your professional thing that you put on your profile picture. Also put the biography and updates according to what you achieve. And don't worry if you update your profile every 3 months. That can't be a troubleshoot for the people. No, that can be a solution for someone who's just checking your account to know, okay, she just did this certification. So at least every time you are doing a certification, just update it on your profile. Just update it on your social media profile. That's so important. So let's go to the second one, connect with people. Let's take an example. You are a journalist. So as a journalist, which are the different people you should be connect with? Just put on the chat. Which kind of people you should have on your network? Okay, so I let you guys 2 minutes before reading. So a journalist deals with every type of people from failure journalists, PR, pro, politician, actors, sport, people, etc. Every kind of people. The difference can come from your editorial line and your audience. Other journalists, media pro, media owner. The last one, other journalists, media pro, media owner, is my answer. You should not be connected to everyone. No. Everyone can follow your account, but you should not be connected to everyone. You should be connected to other journalists. And you have to take the different senior journalists in the West African region or in your region. If you are from South Africa, you have to take like 2 countries or maybe 6 countries and take 2 names of journalists every day. Look after them, check them, search them on the social media and find them to connect with them. Why I'm talking about other journalists? Because if you know your job, maybe your audience can say you know your job, but when other journalists say you know your job, your audience thinks you are more credible. So you got more credibility as a journalist to be maybe to be posted by someone who is doing the same job than you, and to be connected by someone who is doing journalism like you, because we say that we are the result of the 5 people around us. So if around you you got every kind of people that can be a little bit challenging, you should got people that can impact your personal brand. And the first of all people are journalists. After them, the professional media. So as TV show, as radio and TV media. So you should look in your area and know if there are some professional media that you can be connect with. And the last one will be the media owner. I really like this one because your customer, the people who are gonna hire you, can be the media owner or can be the CEO. So the media owner is one of the answer I like, because you can be connected to some media owner in Ghana, in Ivory Coast, in Mali, in Burkina Faso, in Senegal, in Nigeria. So you have to be connected to them, because as journalists, they can hire you. You can have a promotion because of that. And also you can see what they are doing in the media and what they are expected in this media. And you can do the same in your role. So these are the very good answer. Maybe if you are a journalist in sport, particularly, you should be connected to all people in sport. So my answer for all of you would be simple. If you are a journalist, you should find your specification, like what makes you unique, your value proposition, and after you should select it around all of the area you have. So if you are a politician journalist, you should select people from politics, select people like the media for politics, our journalists for politics, and many things. You should find also you should also find the media honor and the political people and the political honor of organization. So according to what you are according to a specific area, you should connect with people. So I hope you guys got this point, and let's go to the next point. We have to go fast because we don't got any many time. So third is create content. If you don't create any content, nobody's gonna know that you're doing journalism or you're doing what you're doing as a job. So you should create content. So if you are creating content, you will see that people will react it or not. I'm not sure for talking about how to create content, but my advice for you guys would be create a good content. Create content according to your timeline, according to your editorial time and calendar, and define 2 or 3 type of texts you're gonna have. If you don't like videos, you should define 3 themes. And with these 3 themes, you're gonna explain many things, kind of creating content, like have some videos as a content, some article, and also have some text that you're gonna post, and also have maybe podcast, because that can be a good content. Today, podcasts are the good and the best content. And some people are not journalists, but they are asking questions in podcasts. That means that your place is there. You should go and take your place. Someone tell me just run now before the meeting, that leadership is not something that we are going to give, it's something that you have to take. So if you have to take leadership, you should take your place too as a journalist asking questions in podcast. And the last one is network. Your network is definitely your net worth, and for that, you should have a good network. But how can you build a network as a journalist? Because at least you always busy with your work, always busy with your mission, and so on. So for building your network, according to me, building network for my customer is very simple. First of all, I try to manage some lunch with people for them. So I selected some profile and I organized some lunches where they can see them and chat together. That is my first point. I also connect with people in the same area than my customer, and I say to my customer, please, you should be connected to this person and answer and comment this or this. That's very important, because this person will be in our network, and that can also help us to go behind our expectation according to what we want. So what we want as journalists. Let's go to the next PowerPoint. I don't know if we got, at least maybe we got 10 minutes. So we go very, very quickly. Leveraging social media for personal branding. So we will discuss the various social media platforms relevant to journalists. Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, etc. We already talk about that. So how to optimize your social media profile for professionalism and consistency. So I also talk about profile picture. I'm already talk about the cover. I'm already talk about the biography. I'm already talk about your content, and I also talk about your updates. So this the way to optimize your social media. This is the same for LinkedIn and Facebook. The importance of sharing valuable content, engaging with your audience, and showcasing your expertise through posts and articles. So this part is more focused on how, when you share your content, when you're engaging with your audience and showcasing your expertise through posts and articles, it can be powerful. So never ever forget that. It's very important of sharing valuable content. You should not create content and force people to like it because they know you and because they are your colleague journalists. They should like you. No, let people like the stuff. Let people like what they want. And this is very important. If you let people like what they want, that can be more easy. So the importance of sharing valuable content, engaging with your audience, and showcasing your expertise really depend on the best and the good content you're gonna share. I don't know if you guys got some question, but let's finish quickly the last PowerPoint, last one, 8. So building a strong online presence for your personal branding. The significance of regular and meaningful content creation. I don't know if you understand the fact that you should be regular as a journalist, and you guys have many type of content that I already explained to you: podcast, videos, reels, and articles. So you should all got a platform from your article, and also share this platform to your Facebook profile. You guys can just decide this. So the first one is the meaningful content. You know, guys, even if you don't have a good camera for recording your video, if what you're saying is meaningful, people gonna share, like, and gonna put you in the mind at someone who is saying something important. This can be a professional example, your professional or maybe your meaningful content creation. The second one is the benefit of blogging, podcasting, video creation, etc., to showcase your expertise. I was talking about the fact that when you are a journalist, you should definitely work on your personal branding, and the things that you should do on your content will be to showcase your expertise. And your expertise really depend on what do you think about your own career. So everyone can be an expert in a field that he just decided, but I just think that your expertise is what you're doing good. And so you should showcase your expertise and the benefits you got from this formation, because that's very important in your different tests or next step. You should definitely find a way to do that, to see the benefit of blogging or podcasting and video creation. My last one, oh, I think I'm running the time, I'm rushing the time, is 4-4. So, okay. The strategy for planning and maintaining a content calendar to stay consistent. My strategy that I can give to you guys is simple, because you're journalists, so you already got many content for other people. So what can you do to have a good content tool on your platform is to have someone who can assist you, recording you, and also who can work with you in this journey, because personal branding is a journey, and we can also help you. So this strategy for planning and maintaining a content calendar to stay consistent is not something that can really help you to achieve, but is one of the things that can really help you to achieve many things. So as I said, we are rushing time. Let's try to sum up together. So we have to sum up what is personal branding: is what people think about you when you're not here, is also the process that people use for build something like intentionally creating and managing a public image, portraying a consistency identity that resonates with your target audience. The second one that we should understand is for building a personal branding, you should define your unique value proposition. And to know what is your unique value proposition, the first one is, who are you and what are you doing and what do you want others to remember about you? When you define this, you can also say that I have now a personal branding to build. And we also talk about the different process that we can have in crafting your personal brand story. Be on social media, updating your profile, your information, and your cover. Also connect with people, micro-influencer. And I don't know if you guys know micro-influencer. There are some influencers who just got like 5,000 people, 10,000, 15,000, not more than 50,000 people. So you should connect with them, and also people in your area. So journalists, area and journalist owner, media owner, and someone and people who are in your area if you are a journalist in a specific area. The third one was about to create content. So you guys got podcasts as content, articles as content, post as content, reels and videos as content. So just try and let me know if you got some challenging creating. And for creating your different content, the challenge is maybe the different software. So I can advise to you CapCut for your video. I did my videos with CapCut and I just got more than 20K like, and in this 20K like, we can also know what is my notoriety among them, and I can be on 2 or 3% for notoriety for this post. So your content is very important. And the last one was the network too. So people will connect with different from your network. And let's sum up very quickly. The leverages social media for personal branding was about differentiate the social media. So we were going to try how to have a significance of regular and meaningful content and so on. I will not sum up everything because you guys was focused on what I was saying. Right now, I'm waiting for the question and next PowerPoint. Yes, I'm waiting for the question, and yeah, I was glad to be with you.
Thank you very much, Anais, for your kind training, for sharing the tips with us on how journalists can build and strengthen their personal brand. I'm sure that the audience, the journalists with us, but all the content creators and the people that wanted to learn about personal branding did learn something new. Well, we now opening the Q&A box for your question. So guys, if you do have question, please paste it into the Q&A box so Anais and I can see it and she will provide answers to you. Yeah, unless you directly want to ask your question, you can also raise your hand and I will activate your mic. So you will have the opportunity to directly ask your question. But whether you raise your hand or you use the Q&A box for your question.
Okay, thank you, Rick. So I just want to give 3 keys that you guys have to maintain for your personal branding as pro content creator or journalist. The first one is social media presence. The second one is network. I was talking about network. You should network with people. You should go out of your comfort zone. You should go on some meeting. You should go on conference as a person first before being a journalist. And the third one was the fact that I didn't talk about that because I think we should maybe hiring someone to talk about this, but it will be the image that you give to people, like your image, the way you dress, the way you talk, the way you look people, the way you watch things, the way you interact is also very important. So if you got a good presence online and you're always out, you should find a way to express yourself, to talk with people, and also have a good image. I'm talking about the style right now, so you should have someone to give you advice about your style. I'm giving some advices about my customer image and all about the style, the head that they have to, and the way they have to speak. So you should also keep these keys. So first one, social media presence. Second one, network, because your network is your net worth at least. And the third one, all about style and image. So your image advice.
Well, thank you because you anticipate the question I had for you. And I wanted to ask you what are the key elements of a powerful personal brand, but you already answered this question. So I will, while we waiting for the guys to just type their question, I do have a question for you, Anais. And practically, I'd like to know how can journalists leverage their personal brands to create new opportunities, reach wider audiences, and promote their work? How can personal branding help them to create new opportunities, reach wider audience, and promote their work?
Okay, so I was speaking, but my microphone was off, so nobody was hearing me. So thank you for this question, and I think that can be something that very simple, but that is not simple. Personal branding can help you to get more opportunity because people can see you. Someone who is doing something great can see your social media presence and say, "Oh, this is a good one. I need this person in my team." And using social media or personal branding for that, it's simple. You should report your project. You should always report what you achieve. And I was talking about that. And if you are someone that not a social media person, you don't like to report stuff and so on, you should create your website. And your website will be a kind of portfolio for you because personal branding is not only social media. We got personal branding in another platform that can be like on press and media and also on online article. So just try to have a website and put your portfolio and a different project that you was working on this website and have your social media just to relate because with personal branding, I'm not a journalist, of course, but I get more opportunities in my area, like working with people, meet some public personality that I was not expected, be selected in some program. So I think for journalists, that can be very helpful to them because they can work on some big project. They can travel for doing many things, and that can really help them. So to summarize the takeaway that I was talking about, I really want to encourage the different participants to start implementing the different strategies I was talking, and remind them that personal branding is a continuous journey of growth and adaptation. So you should incorporate relevant things like the case studies I give and practical tips that I give today to guard your presence online, to make it engaging and actionable, and to have more opportunities in your area.
Perfect. Thank you, Anais, for this answer. We do get a question from Serge Begre, and he's saying, or he's asking actually, when you talk about content, do you mean content about our work itself, like providing information as a journalist, or content about our working days at office? So which kind of content should the journalist promote in order to build his personal branding?
Okay, so as I was talking about at the beginning, I was talking about the biography. Your different content will depend on the biography you write on your social media. The little biography that you can see on the Facebook page, on LinkedIn, you have to explain what do you give to people who connect with you. If you say that you are sharing your life as a journalist, your content should be focused on your life as a journalist, the challenges have, the opportunities you got, and everything about that. If you say that you give some tips to help different people who want to be journalists, your content should be focused on this. But you can do some content that we call in French, because I was looking for this word in French, I don't know. Éphémères, I don't know. But the stories are ephemeral content. So you can use your stories to talk about your life every day. But first of all, you have to define what is your editorial thing that you have to be, your line. Because if you don't have a square of content, you will talk about many things. As the journalist, just decide, I want to be a kind of senior for other people. So on my account, I will share the tips. I want to share my life as a journalist because I want to get more opportunity. So I will write this about my challenging, about an experience, about the travel, about a project. This can be your different content for your journalist experience on your social media. And the last one can be reporting. So you can just share on your social media many news that you report, like maybe this kind of content, do or don't. Like you can say, do this when you're writing an article, don't do this when you're writing an article. That can be some content you can put. You can also put some content about news, like reporting news. As a good journalist, you can say, I did this interview with these people, this is what he said. I just watched this interview of these people, which is what they said. So I remember that these days they got Tiam interview. This is a political guy, and nobody, I don't know, that maybe 50% of people watch these videos, but the over part of people that was just focused on bad birds. So as a journalist, you can sum up this interview and report it on your social media, and we can define your personal brand as a journalist who give access to big news, like in short term, and people will understand very easily, because this interview was so long with Mr. Jarasuba and Mr. Tiam, but you can just sum up and explain maybe 4 things that Tiam said in this interview. As a journalist, people will understand that because you know your job, so you can just sum up in 4 things. So this kind of things you can say and people will understand. You can also talk about how to pronounce things, everything about your area, but you are the one who should define what do you want to share according to your maybe according to your project or your goals. Yes, that's all.
Thank you very much, Anais. And yeah, I can see someone clapping his hands, saying that your answer is like straight to the point. My last question for you: what challenges do African journalists face when it comes to personal branding, and how can they overcome them? So what are the challenges the African journalists face when it comes to personal branding, and how can they overcome them?
Okay, I think that I'm not a journalist, so that can be more difficult for answer this. I can talk about the challenge for the person who are concerned about this, but I really think when I just look the environment, the journalist environment in West Africa, that can be the different people who doing fake news and also who try to do the journalist job at the place of journalists. Like the public personality, the people called influencer, and sometimes in some countries they are doing the journalist job. They are doing the reporting, they are doing the interviews, they are doing the podcast on YouTube, they are doing many things that was the job of journalists. So when someone as a journalist start to do that, a personal branding can be hired by this kind of people. The people who try to replace, I can say that like that, to take the job of journalist people. So they can be hired by them. That can be one challenge in Africa right now because we are all focused on influencer and we are not focused on what someone did at school to be a good journalist. The second one can be the fact that we don't have a role model for personal branding for journalists because since I know journalists in West Africa and the senior one, they was focused on I'm a journalist, I do my job, and I'm not the one who will be in front of the scene. So this can be the challenge because there was just used to be behind the scene. And today with personal branding, they should be in front of the scene. But that can be challenging because they don't have some role model who already do that, who already did that in the past and who already doing this right now. So they don't have a role model. They just have some people who was hiding but these people will succeed by hiding themselves. But today they should be in front because if they are behind, the people named influencer will take their place about everything about public personality, about uh, public relation, about interviews, about many things because they want to do content so they will take place of journalists. So the challenges is to know to have some role model and let's just look after them what they did so they are the people who will do something and maybe the next generation will watch what they did. This is the challenging, I think. And for overcome this is to project content without thinking that you are doing too much. Because sometimes they are thinking, maybe I'm talking too much, I'm doing too much, but you should talking too much about your skills because doing your personal branding is not like trying to talking too much about you, is about selling your skills to someone or to some people. So you should talk too much about your skills. At least if people say, oh, Eric Quadio they are always talking about journalists. That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. So you should not be scared about talking about your capacity to be a good journalist or to be a good manager in charge of public relation and media.
Thank you very much, Anais. Well, what actually got me was the fact you highlighted that journalists were behind the scene and then now coming in front of the scene is quite challenging for them. And actually, it's right. And that's why they need to work on their personal branding so that people will know them and we know their expertise. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for you guys. We do, well, we do get one last question. From Serge Jose, do you think that if in Cote d'Ivoire we don't have role model, we should go outside and maybe check for personal branding of an American maybe? I mean, if it's a good idea, is just asking, do you think that like benchmarking someone who is not from your main area is beneficial? Like maybe taking an American as a role model is good for someone evolving in the African landscape?
Yes, definitely yes. Because we should update our reality to our content. So I really think that be connected to America people, South Africa people, French people, Nigeria people, or people from outside the continent can be a good idea. The only thing is that you should update this idea, because if you are connected to a journalist in maybe America, let's take United States, you can find some content that can be very interesting, but the themes of the content can be like not interesting for Africa. Let's take an example. We can take an example of Oprah, who is just managing a big show, TV show. So sometimes she can talk about feminism, but if it's not something that very currently taught in our country, we should definitely try to use the way she's doing the content, but not the theme of the content. So if she's using some interviews to talk about that, we should use some interviews by talking about another subject. By the way, you just try to know how, as a journalist, you can build your personal brand. So you can just check the different journalists in another area, but update with your reality. So in back home, so just check like Africa has the reality about politics, about media, about communication. So if I just check someone in America doing content, I will just check the way she's doing the content. I'm not doing the subject she's just practicing. So this is the way. I think that is a good idea. And even if it's about public relation, you just follow someone who is doing public relation in India, you can update the same things to your continent and doing the same. So just update according to our values, according to the area you are, the environment, but you can also be following them and to get more idea, because 1 hour session meeting is not too much to define what is personal brand, how can you do. But if you're following people who are doing this every day, you can be like more in the practice, more than the theory.
Thank you, Anais. Thank you. I like he's clapping his hands. It means that your answer is very insightful. I don't have any more question, and I can't see any question in the Q&A box. So it means that our audience is satisfied with the answer we provided and the tips you shared in order to build a personal branding in an African context for a journalist. Like if I have to sum up quickly what we talk about, to improve our personal brands, journalists should first define the USP, the unique selling proposition. So to define the USP, they should answer 3 main questions: who they are, what they do, and what they want people to remember about them. And now the process to build the personal brands is firstly to be on social, secondly to connect with people, thirdly to create content, and finally to network. But all these should take into account the image also the people show to the people, to the audience, and all the person with them. And taking all these information into account, journalists will definitely build and strengthen their personal brand. Thank you very much, Anais, for being on that webinar, for sharing your expertise and knowledge with our audience, with all the guys. Thank you to José Begré, Jean-Boris, Josette, Lucine, Marie-Lise, Mohamed, all those people, all those persons who attended the webinar. Anais, I will give you the floor for your closing remarks. And I also know that you are preparing an event here in Abidjan regarding networking. And you also talk about networking as a key element of building a personal brand. So if you, in your closing remark, can just talk a little bit about your event and how it will also be beneficial for the journalists.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you. So talking about my event, this is LinkedIn Local, and LinkedIn Local is event that was existed before me. And that was a concept created in Australia, and LinkedIn just lets the liberty to everyone to organize a LinkedIn local. So we can do it in Benin, in Burkina Faso, as long as you have the different elements to do that, and you have some people who was in LinkedIn. So we just saw that the last LinkedIn local Abidjan was in 2020, before the COVID, and after the COVID, we didn't have this kind of events. But we can see that we are just raising our community on LinkedIn. And I think people are afraid of LinkedIn now because they think you should be successful first before being on LinkedIn. So this concept is to help people to love LinkedIn again, and to love LinkedIn because LinkedIn got many opportunities. I also get some advantages on LinkedIn. So I really, really think that you guys should be on the LinkedIn local Abidjan. That can take place on September 9 at 4 p.m. That can be a great, great opportunity of networking. You can meet people that you know on LinkedIn. They can be you. You can show how to use LinkedIn on this, and that can be a great opportunity for you. So this is my advice for you for the first network. Why not? And so I'm waiting for you, Eric, and the other people to be on the LinkedIn local. And if you want to get more information about LinkedIn local or some events, you can be connected on my social media, Anais Manager, or the social media of my company, the group who is working on this event. So the group is like the group, as you know, how to work the group. And my last sentence, maybe the last things I want to say is be focused on what you want to do. Don't be afraid to produce some content because of some seniors who can saw your post. Maybe if I can say you are lying, just be like authentic with you. Just share what you know about your job, and I'm sure that that can be helpful someone, and also you can get more opportunities because of your personal branding. I experienced that, and I hope you guys are gonna experience the same with your personal branding. Thank you, and thank you to the African Media Agency for this invitation. Thank you to you, Eric, and may God keep you guys safe.
Thank you very much, Anais. Thank you to everyone for joining us for this amazing conversation about personal branding for journalists. Let's keep connected. Like, you can follow Anais as she shared a handle on social media. You can also follow AMA Academy to know what's happening in the upcoming month. Like, we started this webinar, and every month we are having one webinar to talk about journalistic things on the continent. So the next webinar will be on September. The date is not yet fixed, but once it's done, you will receive an email with all the information on the topic and the date and the speakers, and you will be able to book your seat so you can participate to this conversation. Thank you very much for being with us. We hope that you enjoy the conversation. The recording will be shared with you by email tomorrow. In the meantime, if you do have questions, don't hesitate to ping us or to reach out. Our social media account will be delighted to read your question and provide answers. Thank you very much, everyone, and see you next time for our next webinar. Bye-bye. Thank you.